Okay, sorry. Okay. Good afternoon. Thank you for being here today. I want to address two different issues. I'll start off by giving a brief statement regarding the death investigation of Allison Lucier. And then I also want to move on to a number of crimes that occurred earlier this morning, release some information that we need so that the public can help us solve these, and also show you all a video from one of the crimes. I want to offer brief remarks regarding the tragic passing of Allison Lucier last year. First and foremost, we want to express our deepest sympathies to Allison's family, her friends, and her loved ones. This case has been an incredibly difficult and painful time for those who have cared about her, and I'm certain that a lack of certainty over how her death occurred is even more painful. This case has been challenging for the investigators and for the prosecutors that have been assigned to collaborate throughout this investigation. We understand concerns that have been raised, and we want to be as transparent as we possibly can while respecting the integrity of this ongoing investigation. I'll give you a brief overview. On February 22nd of 2024, just before 3 p.m., the Minneapolis Police Department was alerted to the death of Allison Lucier. She was found by her caretaker inside an apartment, and the evidence suggests that she had died several days before being discovered. The Hennepin County Medical Examiner's Office conducted an autopsy and determined that Allison had significant amounts of fentanyl and methamphetamine in her system. She also had suffered a subdural hematoma on the left side of her skull. However, the medical examiner has ruled the manner of death as undetermined. When a case is classified by the medical examiner as undetermined, it becomes significantly more difficult to prove that a homicide occurred. Despite this, the MPD has thoroughly investigated this case. The MPD has presented this case to the Hennepin County Attorney's Office for consideration of charges, and we have been in continuous communication with the prosecutors assigned from their office. We remain committed to pursuing justice for Allison, and we will fully participate in any additional requests from the Hennepin County Attorney's Office. Additionally, we have been consulting with the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension regarding the possibility of an independent review of this case. At this time, because this remains an open and active investigation, we cannot provide further details. However, we want to assure you that our department has taken this case very seriously, and we will continue to work diligently alongside prosecutors and other agencies involved. There have also been questions regarding previous domestic incidents and reports filed involving Allison and her partner. Because the manner of Allison's death remains undetermined, it is difficult to draw any conclusions regarding any connection between her death and those past incidents. However, I want to assure the public that the MPD handled those cases in accordance with established policy and the law. I also want to emphasize that despite what's being said, our police officers and our investigators care very deeply about finding justice for Allison and for every victim of crime in our city. And I am confident they've done all they can with the resources they have been afforded. I understand this case has generated significant frustration, and it's exacerbated grief among those who knew Allison. Investigating cases like this is never easy, neither for the loved ones left behind, nor for the professionals that are working tirelessly to try and find answers. The MPD remains committed to pursuing justice, and we will continue to cooperate fully with our law enforcement and prosecutorial partners to ensure that all appropriate legal avenues are explored. Next, I want to acknowledge the alarming and violent series of incidents that occurred in our city earlier today. Between 5 a.m. and 6:50 a.m., the Minneapolis Police Department responded to 6 separate incidents, including aggravated robbery, burglary, carjacking, and 2 shootings. These incidents unfolded across multiple locations within the confines of the 3rd Precinct. Witnesses reporting that the suspects, 3 to 4 males, were all traveling in a white sedan. Given the severity of these crimes and the imminent threat to public safety, at 5:41 a.m., we activated our robbery response protocol. The protocol enables us to rapidly mobilize all available law enforcement resources to locate and apprehend violent offenders and to try and stop crime sprees as they are occurring. Officers and deputies from the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office and the Metro Transit Police Department also joined our efforts. To summarize, these are the key incidents that we believe are linked, and all the specific information regarding these incidents will be provided in the written press release. This first incident is one in which we're going to show a video from this at the end. First incident was a burglary and a shooting that occurred in the 4100 block of 25th Avenue South, where a 54-year-old man was shot while inside of his home. Second is a carjacking at gunpoint on the 5100 block of 34th Avenue South. Then 2 additional burglaries were reported in the same area as suspects forcibly entered garages. An aggravated robbery and shooting then occurred on the 2300 block of 32nd Street East, where a 25-year-old man suffered a gunshot wound. The last incident is a shots fired incident where suspects were seen exiting a white sedan and discharging a firearm. While no arrests have been made at this time, we have made significant progress. I want to be clear, this investigation remains in its preliminary stages and is active and ongoing. However, I can tell you that there are several leads that we are investigating. I can also tell you that the white Mazda sedan that we suspect as being involved in all of these incidents has been recovered, as well as a gray Mazda SUV that was stolen in a carjacking during these incidents. Our officers and investigators are working relentlessly to gather evidence, to review numerous surveillance video footage, and to track down the individuals that are responsible for these crimes. Our department is actively seeking information on the suspects. I'll describe them as follows, and you will see them for yourself in the video. Suspect number 1 is a male wearing a black jacket over a white shirt, black or blue jeans, black shoes, and black gloves. Suspect number 2 is a male wearing a blue hoodie or jacket over a white shirt, black jeans with rips or a white pattern, and white Nike shoes and a black winter cap. Suspect number 3 is a male wearing a black mask, black hoodie or jacket over a white shirt, dark jeans, white gloves, and black shoes. I want to emphasize that this brazen level of violence cannot be tolerated in our city. The MPD is committed to bringing these individuals to justice, but we need the public's help. If anyone out there recognizes these suspects or has any information about these incidents, please come forward. You can submit tips anonymously through the Crime Stoppers tips line. And at this time, I'll ask the sergeant to key up the video.
So y'all can see the screen. This is the burglary of a garage. At the end, you'll see they shoot one shot, and that strikes the male standing in the window of the second floor of his house.
Is this the first incident?
I believe this is the first incident listed. It'll be in our press release.
Okay.
So this is in an alley, and they're breaking into this one garage, and they fire at the neighbor through a window in the house on the opposite side of the alley.
And this is uploaded up to YouTube. I'll make it public as soon as we're done with this, and so you'll have access to it there. Okay, you ready?
So that's the that's the white Mazda that the suspects were using. That vehicle has been recovered, as well as a gray Mazda SUV that they carjacked in one of these incidents.
So that single shot that we see
Mhm.
fired
Goes through a
the gate.
window and strikes the neighbor on the opposite house, the house opposite from the victim's garage.
And if you listen to the video, you'll hear them say, "Oh, someone's looking out their window,"
Mhm.
and he fired the shot.
So what, do you hear commotion and look out the window?
Heard commotion, looked out the window. More than one suspect pointed a gun at him. One of them pulled the trigger once, and it went through the window and struck him.
What's
Where did he hit
connecting
him?
all 6 of these?
Other than garages being targeted for burglaries, this does appear random. This does appear to be a random crime spree.
This is so inconspicuous though. Like,
Yes.
why are they
Yes.
choosing these?
We have nothing was taken from this particular incident here, and we don't have any information to connect them other than it is the same suspects in the same vehicle.
And when you see the suspects kicking at a door off camera, that's to get into a garage?
Yes.
So they enter the garage and take nothing?
Nothing was taken from that one. No.
Did they take anything at the other incidents?
I don't have, well, they took a vehicle, they took a Mazda SUV, and the full details we have in the written release, I just don't have it in front of me.
And this was the man in his 50s that was shot, correct?
Yes, 54-year-old man,
Yeah.
shot inside of his home,
Inside his home.
through the
Was
window.
he hit in
Yep.
the head?
Sarge, I know this is non-life threatening. Was it in the,
He was struck in the face.
he was struck in the face with a non-life threatening injury.
Should we take that to mean he was grazed?
I don't know that.
I don't know that for sure.
Where's the video of somebody's home security camera?
That's a Ring
This is
camera.
Ring video.
Yes, that's a Ring video.
Was there video for every incident that helped you see the same vehicle, the same suspect descriptions?
There's a lot of video for sure. I don't know if we have from every scene, but there is a lot of video, both from the scene and then surrounding the scene that are relevant to the investigation. And just, was it, I can't remember if Liz, you just asked me, but this individual was struck in the jaw, left side of his jaw. By that one round, it ricocheted and also struck him in the left shoulder.
I know you don't want to speculate, you've said this is random, but what, is it crime of opportunity? I mean, what is it that they're going to get out of it?
We have had, about a year ago, is when we created the robbery protocol because we started to have problems with robbery sprees happening. Last year, that was a problem with juveniles, this time of year. And we had just kind of dozens that were happening late at night. This obviously does not appear to be juveniles. However, it is part of the same pattern, a number of crimes happening very quickly in a very small time span and also in kind of a defined geographic area. But we don't know as of yet what the motivation for this was or what is connecting any of these garages other than just random opportunity. And certainly it's totally random that a man looking out of his window to hear a noise then gets shot in the face.
I feel like you've talked about this before, just the complete disregard for human
Yes,
life.
absolutely.
Are you still seeing this? Because we're seeing it, I feel like we just saw this video.
This is brazen, and it is absolutely disregard for human life, as is every shooting that we have. But the difference that I would say between the vast majority of shooting incidents that we have is that they're a lot more personal, that it tends to be confined to both shooters and victims of shootings, who oftentimes there is a relationship, and oftentimes they're just as likely to be engaged in a shooting as they are to become a victim of a shooting themselves. That is different from what we're seeing here. This is a random act of violence from someone who simply looked out their window, and it does seem like these other crimes are also random acts. They are not targeted. Oftentimes, shootings here are targeted. They're personal. It's a result of some sort of dispute or altercation. That's not the case with these.
So you don't believe this is related in any way to the carjacking incident we had over the weekend involving the juveniles?
No, not that one, no. However, I do believe that there may be other incidents these individuals are responsible for. It's not limited to these ones this morning, but I'm just not able to provide details on that at this time.
Do you have a time frame on that? If they're potentially connected to other incidents? How far back are
Other
we
incidents,
talking about?
other incidents earlier today. Yes. Other incidents earlier today. Yes.
Just from today?
We suspect, yes. These ones we know for sure. That vehicle and these suspects, we believe, are responsible. But it is also possible that other incidents have also been committed by these same suspects today.
How common are break-ins in the areas that you saw this morning?
We do have problems with garage break-ins and garage burglaries. That's been an issue in the 3rd precinct for sure. And different things generate that. Sometimes it's people that are just looking to get inside and be somewhere warm, and other issues play into that. This seems different than the typical burglary problem that we see. This is different, for sure.
Can you provide any more detail about the injuries of the 25-year-old male that was also shot later in the morning?
I'm looking, Sarge, do you have it in front of you?
That was potentially life-threatening. You know, we get the medical terms of serious and all those things. We don't quite know what that means. But yeah, it's potentially life-threatening.
Where was he
He
struck?
was shot in the chest.
Yeah, it was in the chest, the 2300 block of 32nd Street East, 25-year-old male.
Are people cooperating with you at any of these addresses?
People-
How much are people talking?
People in this case have been helpful, yes. Victims have been helpful as best they can. But what we need is people from the public who recognize those 3 individuals, any of them, to come forward and give us information, or if they've seen that car around. While we have recovered it, we do need help in identifying those 3 people. We will find them, but it'll be a whole lot faster if the public helps us.
You're always pretty candid about violence and crime and that, but nothing must surprise you anymore when you see something as brazen or...
Yeah. It's disturbing. There's a lot of this stuff, unfortunately, that's disturbing. And a lot of it, too often violence is normalized because it tends to affect, people that are, again, that are just as likely to be committing crimes as they are to fall victim of it. All of it is wrong, for sure, but certainly, it generates a lot more fear in the community when it's just random like this. And that's why it's so important that we identify these people. So anybody who has information, please provide it.
Anything recovered from the vehicle, either the suspect vehicle and the carjack?
I'm not going to disclose that, but those vehicles will be processed. Yes, both the carjacked vehicle as well as the suspect vehicle.
There's individual that got shot.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any advice? Just like turn your back, don't get involved, or you try to be
All this person did in the video we watched was look out their window to see what's going on. I mean, it's just, obviously if someone becomes the victim of a crime, we always remind people that property can be replaced, your life can't. I don't know what you're supposed to say to somebody that simply looked out their window because they heard a noise, and the next thing you know, they're getting shot. That's terrible.
You mentioned sprees like this maybe last year.
Yes.
Can you at all quantify or maybe categorize how that has looked so far lately?
So since last year, when it peaked, I would say February and March, in that time frame, we enacted this robbery response protocol. What happens there is we call for the sheriff's office, we call for Metro Transit, we ask the state patrol if they can send their helicopter, and citywide we shut down non-priority responses to 911 calls, and we flood the areas with all police officers that are on duty from around the city, very, very visibly, both obviously to try and identify and locate the suspects, but if nothing else, to deter them from continuing in these sprees. So that protocol, the data shows, has been helpful in that when we do have these sprees, they tend to be fewer than what we had today. But again, today was different. I mean, this was usually what was happening in the past were street robberies. When someone's robbed in person, they're aware of it right away, obviously, because property is being taken from them. Some of these cases where burglaries are happening, not necessarily a person is aware when the incident occurs. So once, after the second shooting occurred, that's when we knew immediately that we had the same suspects involved in more than one incident, and the protocol was enacted. So I would say generally the protocol has been successful in trying to do the best we can with all of our available resources to either stop these sprees as they're happening and make arrests, but if nothing else, try and alleviate as much as we can the problem.
So this would be the first spree of the year, or was that?
Yes, the first time the protocol's been activated this year. Yes. Yeah, 'cause I get notified whenever they do, and I can't recall offhand the last time we've had to do this. Unless
Any
you
other questions? Just to the question about what was taken, as you know, you don't always know what was stolen until you go back later and like, oh, so maybe things were stolen that the owners just didn't realize it at the time. Those do get reported to us later on. As of right now, we don't know of any loss.
Other than the vehicle.
Other than
The
the
carjacked
vehicle.
vehicles, yeah.
For the report.
Yeah.
Are you releasing photos of the suspects or just the standalone
Well,
video?
I mean, I have snaps that come from this video, but they're very grainy. So whatever your IT can do to extrapolate from the video that's there, I'm assuming that YouTube would be fair more quality than what I'm going to produce. And I can send you what I have, but if they're not good.
Have you guys identified them? Do you know? No. Do they look familiar to you?
I'm not going to speak to that. I'm not going to speak to that further. Yeah. Just to be clear, we need the public's help, for sure. Thank you. Good, thank you.